Hi, Jay Frederick Smith here, Continental Realty of Jackson. We're heading on into 4023 Skycrest Drive. This is a little block home, 3-bedroom. I think it's 1.5 bath. On the west side of Jacksonville, or pardon me, the east side of Jacksonville, kind of in well, I don't know what the neighborhood is called, but it's south of Beach Boulevard, down off of Forest Drive. All right, so anyway, looks like we have an add-on here. Maybe this was a garage once upon a time. They added some extra space by taking the garage out and turning that into living room. I think that because of this beam that's up above, and also you'll notice that the height of the ceiling in that room is different from the height of the ceiling in the rest of the house. It is a little add-on area that is definitely lower ceiling-wise than the rest of the house is. So that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. It's still comfortable. It's not a huge space. Your whole house is not that height as far as the ceiling goes, which is great, because if it was, I'd be sad. We've got some new, well, okay, they're not new. We've got some flooring, plank flooring that has this kind of mahogany wood look to it, that actually the flooring is older, and it has some places where there's some damage. Not bad, but I would suggest that you put a sealer on the floor just to prevent the corners like this one here and others from getting any worse if you decided that you would buy this house. They're not curling up or anything like what happens sometimes with this type of laminate flooring, probably because of the quality of the flooring is better. But anytime you start seeing chipped corners like that, you just want to do something to make sure that the rest of the floor stays good for as long as possible. You know, it's expensive to change out a floor, and these floors look nice, so I would suggest you do something to mitigate the damage rather than replace. Unless, of course, you just don't like them and you want them replaced, and then, of course, that's fine too. Dining area is pretty small, but big enough for this little 4-seater table. No chandelier, just the flush mount light over the top. Some gray 12 by 24 tiles. There's a lot of damage to the grout in these tiles that will need to be taken care of, because especially with an off-grade house like this one, any place where there's cracking like this, where the grout, or here, for example, where the grout is no longer in the tile, that is a place where water can get in and cause you nothing but grief. You do not, absolutely do not want water getting underneath your tiles, because if that happens, you know, it could really cause some serious rot. Let's get some lights on in here so we can see what we're talking about. Now, the range does not have a hood, which is sad, because it really should have one. In fact, I think it's code to have one, but you know, with the age of this house, that wouldn't be something that matters. I'd still put one in. You could slide that range over just a little bit and attach one right to the underside of that cabinet there without too much problem. Just take that piece of whatever wood that's been painted off, put a little backsplash there. Maybe it's just a sheet of stainless steel, which would be nice. And then put your ventilation right there, and then it could go through the wall to the outside. Cabinets don't have any knobs or pulls, which means it's going to be difficult to open these drawers. You can do it, but and you know, they're once upon a time were good quality, but there's still no easy way to open them. If I wanted to open this one, it's not exactly the easiest. I kind of have to dig in there to get it open. So really getting some knobs and pulls in this kitchen would be helpful if you kept these cabinets. Why they're off, I don't know. I can't believe that it would never have been knobs or pulls. In fact, if you look really carefully right here, you might be able to see where they actually filled in a hole for a knob once upon a time. And they've probably done that all over the place. Stepping past that is a laundry facility, laundry room. That is, you know, not bad size for laundry. There's sheet vinyl down on the floor, which is perfect because That way, if there's a spill from your washing machine, the water doesn't go into the floor. Unfortunately, they haven't done a nice job of sealing it around the edges or around the drain pipe that's here. And this pipe goes up to allow air to get in. So this is a vent stack. It allows air from the roof and evens the pressure in the drain. That is what it is that you need. These are cast iron pipes, however, and a lot of inspectors will see that and they'll say, ooh, cast iron pipes, you know, you should think about blah, blah, blah. Well, it's true that the big pipes that run from the underside of the house to the street, if they're cast iron, can be a problem because they're brittle. You know, this stuff is really thick, but they're brittle, and that makes it easy for plants to break them. And once the cast iron is broken, it does not do well. If something punches a hole in a PVC drain, okay, you've got a little hole, but the whole pipe isn't broken. But if it's cast iron, the whole pipe is broken, and that's really hard to repair. And that's what it is, the big problem. Cast iron in the house like this, in my opinion, is perfect. There's absolutely no reason to change that out. It's going to last forever. You will never have to do anything with it. This metal, I mean, look how thick this metal is. Look how thick that is. That's like 1/4 of an inch thick of iron. That is never gonna break, okay? You can hit it with a hammer and a sledgehammer and break it because it is brittle, but it's not gonna wear out. It's not gonna have problems on its own. So it's really a good material for what they're using it for. It's just the inspectors, when they talk about cast iron, don't like it under the house where settling and where tree roots and other vegetation can damage it, because once it's damaged, it's just so hard to fix it. So in any case, this, although it's sheet vinyl, it really needs to have some sealing all around the edge, some kind of a sealant put down so that this is glued down to the floor correctly and sealed in such a way that the water cannot go underneath it. And if you look here next to this vent stack at the floor, you can see that it's not properly sealed. That's along the edges the same too here. You can see along the edge where it's not sealed correctly, it's all just kind of up. And then over here closer to the staircase, steps in, there's a hole. Oh, come on, give me that. There we go. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It just needs a little bit of attention. It doesn't need a lot of attention. Okay, this is CPVC piping for the water lines coming in. And so CPVC versus galvanized, which is perfect. Thank you very much. I'm hoping that I see CPVC under the sink. Let's take a look. If I can. Okay. It's really hard to tell. I think it is. I mean, the drain is. I think it is. Or maybe it's copper, which would be even better. But it's not galvanized. I don't see galvanized in there. So whatever it is okay. All right. There's no dishwasher. You would be the dishwasher. There's no garbage disposal. And we looked under the sink, so you know there's not. But, you know, it's a small kitchen. Look how tiny this kitchen is. It's just not enough room, really, for those kind of appliances. Okay. But there is a decent amount of cabinet space for the size of kitchen that it is. Really, there's a lot of cabinet space. And, you know, the cabinets go all the way to the ceiling. I don't know that you could get much more cabinet space in here. I like the subway tile backsplash. They did a nice job of getting the tiles in there. This is a new countertop. The sink is new. The faucet, I don't think the faucet is new. Actually, I don't even think the sink is new, to be honest. But it is still in good shape. Okay, and that's the important thing. This outlet needs to be replaced with an outlet like, let's see, this one. Now, this one should be replaced too. But as you can see, this is a GFCI outlet. It's got the buttons on it, right? And you really need to have that unless that one is connected to this. Now that's a possibility. If it's connected, then it's all right. But if it's not, it really does need to be replaced because it's dangerous to have a non-GFCI outlet next to the sink because there's so much water there, and it's easy for things to go wrong. Okay, going into the hallway, notice the ceiling height difference. There is maybe a foot of ceiling height difference between here and here. And the reason for that is this is where most of the HVAC vent, the ducting up in the attic, that's where most of it resides. And it connects, from here to all 3 bedrooms, the bathroom, and probably out here. I bet you if we look right up here. Okay, so they didn't put a vent up here, but they did put the vent there. So anyway, the main part of the HVAC ductwork is right above us. This looks like a new furnace. Newer, not bad, 2018, so a few years old, but it's a nice and clean and is in good shape. I appreciate what I see here, except for all the loose wire that's there for the low voltage. That really should be put up in a better way, but it's not going to hurt anything because it's low voltage. It can't hurt you. It's like a battery, unless you're going to stick your tongue on those wires. I hope you wouldn't do that. Anyway, if you decide to, let me know and I'll get a video of it. Bathroom. Okay, so all tile, which is good in a lot of ways. Having all tile is great, but it needs to be cleaned up a little bit. There should be some rubber base cove or something down here along this outer wall, because once again, where that wall meets the floor, you're going to have water soaking through that crack. Any water that spills out of the tub, which is going to spill out because there's no shower door. And just a curtain, which I know that's common. It's even typical, but to me it's an offense. And I just mean, listen, it's so important to keep your subfloors dry. That's the case. And if you have a shower door here, the chance of you having water on the floor is so much lower. It really is, except when you step out with your wet feet. And you can have a towel down for that, right? Now this quarter round along the base of the tub is nicely sealed. It's in good shape. It's nicely sealed. Thank you. However, even with that being nicely sealed, this sealing is only going to last, for a year or two, and then there's going to be cracks in it, and then water's going to get down in there. So having a shower door is going to really help, and that's why I say something about it. This is not new tile work in here. This is probably original tile. The grout in some places needs some cleaning. The tiles in some places have buckled a little bit. The wall here is not flat. It's got a kind of a hump. And I can't answer to the reason for that, except to say that whoever installed this tile, whenever it was installed, now it might be original, but actually it probably isn't. This was installed by a homeowner. Yeah, I think so. Someone who doesn't really know about installing tile did this. And I say that for a lot of reasons. The first is, once again, we've got this here where the tile sticks out. A professional would never allow that. And it does it on this side too, you can tell. And the corners don't meet up in a lot of places. And there's other things. Now I've got a phone call coming in I'm going to get, but we'll be right back here in this restroom in just a minute.